Imagine a war that engulfed the world. A war that saw fighting from the fields of France to the waters off of North America, from the Russian frontier to the sands of the Middle East. A war that would cost the lives of over 10 million men, and all of this stemming from a single, seemingly insignificant moment. A sad man eating a sandwich. It may sound unbelievable that such immense tragedy come from something so small, but bear with me as I walk you through a few key moments leading to the outbreak of World War I. The connection will become clear. Often, people believe that history is shaped only by monumental events, but in reality, many pivotal moments in history are shaped by the seemingly innocuous incidents that occurred long before the world takes notice. Today, we'll explore how some of the most impactful events in history were triggered by small, often overlooked details. Firstly, I will recount the events that led up to the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and secondly, I will share a story about a conversation that nearly prevented the war. On June 28, 1914, in Sarajevo, Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife, Archduchess Sophie, were following a published route during a parade in their honor. Unbeknownst to them, a group of assassins was hiding in the crowd. At the time, much of Serbia was under the control of the Austrian Empire, and to the Serbian people, June 28th was a day of great significance. It was the anniversary of the Battle of Kosovo, a key point in their national pride. To put this into perspective, imagine the Prince of England holding a parade on the 4th of July. A group of 6 young men, determined to stop it, waited along the route. One by one, their attempts would fail. 2 assassins would be overcome with fear. Another couldn't bring himself to fire after seeing Sophie in the car with the Archduke, and a 4th's weapon malfunctioned. Then, an assassin threw a bomb at the Archduke's car. It narrowly missed, injuring over 20 people. Another assassin, Gavrilo Princip, would see all these events transpire, along with the Archduke's speedy getaway, and knew the plot was over, and with it, so were his chances at being a Serbian hero. So with a heavy heart, he made his way to a local deli for a consolation sandwich. After the incident, the Archduke made the decision to visit the hospital where the injured people were then taken. But fate had other plans. The driver, unaware of the change in route, turned down Franz Joseph Street, a street named after the Archduke's father, and the car broke down right in front of a sad young man eating a sandwich. In that tragic moment, Gavrilo Princip stood up, fired 2 shots from 5 paces away, and history was forever altered. As we reflect on this story, consider how many small decisions and events influence the outcome. A poorly chosen date, a wrong turn, and a man deciding to eat his sandwich at the wrong place. These seemingly trivial details all contributed to the chain of events that would lead to World War I. Now that we've discussed the spark that ignited World War I, let's turn our attention to a conversation that could have potentially averted it. Before we dive in, a bit of context. Military thinking at the time held that the first side to fully mobilize for war would be guaranteed victory. This led to a dangerous game of who mobilizes first, and when Russia began to mobilize, it triggered a cascade of mobilizations across Europe. This put enormous pressure on Tsar Nicholas II of Russia, who was deeply unsettled by these events. At 1 a.m., he and Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany, close friends and in fact cousins, exchanged a flurry of telegrams. After much back and forth, both monarchs decided to halt their mobilizations, and for one more night, peace prevailed. But the next morning, Tsar Nicholas was confronted by 3 powerful figures: the head of Russian Parliament, the Minister of War, and the Patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church, who all urged him to go to war. After hours of tense discussions, the Tsar walked to a window, struggling with the weight of his decision. In that moment of silence, a nameless aide spoke words that would change the world. He said, "Your Majesty, I know it must be hard to decide." Though unintended, these words struck a chord with the Tsar, who had long been criticized for his weak leadership. And so, feeling the need to prove his strength, Tsar Nicholas authorized full mobilization of the Russian army, and a month later, over 1 million men were dead. Once again, it was not the most powerful man in the room who decided history, but a seemingly insignificant figure. An aide whose words, spoken unintentionally, cause a chain reaction that would lead to one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. Today, we've explored how small moments and seemingly insignificant people contributed to the outbreak of World War I. After hearing these stories, I hope you'll have a newfound appreciation for the idea that history is often shaped by the minute details, and how those details, often overlooked, can determine the fate of nations. Thank you.